I discovered Winterset Hollow by Jonathan Edward Durham through a Reddit group where I misread the category. So was that misread a happy accident or a mistake? Hi, I'm Amanda, and this is Spineless Books, your one-stop shop for all things audiobook. When I saw Winterset Hollow listed on a subreddit about book recommendations, there were lots of people raving about it. So usually what I do when I see a book that's highly acclaimed is I look for it from the library. I don't really read what it's about. And then if I can't find it, I tend to let it go. But something about this one just kept popping up for me. So I went to my library site, I looked for the book, and I found that they didn't have it. Now, often in that case, I will spend a credit on Audible, but I look around, I try to see if I can locate it anywhere, and I came up to empty. Shortly after I was on this search for the book, I ended up finding another post that said Winterset Hollow was great, and I just decided to bite the bullet and spend the credit. So I did, and I immediately began listening after my Audible purchase. When I was starting the book, I was super skeptical because I realized it was narrated by the author. So I thought, did I just pick up something super obscure, or did I just pick up something that maybe was not good enough to warrant a qualified narrator? Had I just wasted an Audible credit? With about 10 minutes into the book, I was pretty sure that none of those things were true. This was a credible narrator. The author was perfectly capable. There didn't need to be a different voice, and I had in fact not wasted a credit. The book follows a group of friends who are traveling to Addington Isle. Addington Isle is where their favorite childhood author used to reside, and they're going sort of in honor of Barley Day, which is a day in one of his stories that is particularly significant, and they decide they're going to make this pilgrimage to the author's home. Shortly after they arrive on the island, they learn that in fact many of the things about his books that were fiction are fact. So there are animals and other characters who are alive and talking and doing things and performing skills. Imagine if you went to visit where Winnie the Pooh author A.A. Milne was from, and you found that Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and Tigger were all there and talking and living their lives, and it wasn't actually made up, it was based on truth. That'd be a little weird. So they arrive on Barley Day, a day that is super significant in their childhood book. And Barley Day commences with a feast, and then there's all kinds of interesting things that happen as part of the ritual. Barley Day, unfortunately for our protagonist, turns out to be the catalyst for a really intense, crazy, thrilling, sort of violent, and really dark plot that nobody expects. I'll just say if you're sensitive to crime dramas, this book is probably not for you. So I want to take a moment to talk about Jonathan Edward Durham as a narrator. I really appreciated his narration. For someone who's an author and not a narrator, he did an excellent job. It reminded me a little bit of when Neil Gaiman narrates his own books, where you just know this is the perfect voice, and you're hearing all of the writing the way it was designed to be read. Durham did a great job of doing a couple of really subtle accents, nothing major. He wasn't doing character voices or anything, but there were some differentiations between some of the characters that were notable and worthwhile. But he really did an excellent job of pushing the plot and the pacing and the intensity with his narration. I was actually really impressed in the end and felt like we benefited from the author narrating the book because he knew exactly how it was supposed to flow from when he wrote it, and he was able to translate that into the audio recording. I actually found myself at moments holding my breath while he narrated, and then there were moments where I felt myself deliberately letting my breath go because he just was able to conjure that intensity. And there were some scenes of immense intensity in this book. So the coupling of the writer and narrator being one person really, really helped sell the story. I can't really say I've read a book like this before. If you're a fan of the sinister, horror, intensity, really macabre type things, you might really love this book. I think it would be the perfect book to pick up around Halloween. It's definitely something that is out of nightmares, and I think while it didn't leave me feeling totally disturbed, it wasn't quite that dramatic. I did feel like it was unusual and not something I've run into very often before. Totally unique plot, really interesting characters, and I found it extremely satisfying all the way through. It felt really fast-paced, and it was definitely a good read. So remember, you might love what I hate and hate what I love. So make your own opinion. But thanks for listening to mine. I hope you like and subscribe. See you next time.